have Beef today. Say hi, Beef. Okay, so today we're going to do the archetypal reading on the One. I know I have to stretch because he doesn't like to be moved a lot. So please bear with me for his sake, his comfort. Now, the One. Oh, I have a thing for this. I came unprepared to have him on my lap, and that's on me. But I always come prepared for you guys. So, let's go ahead and get into it. You guys just get to see all my prep work today. All right, so we have page 121, the One. This is about non-duality, one love, and undis mundus. Our ability to experience this archetype firsthand is limited. It comes in brief and potent moments that we are left to savor for a lifetime. The One is both the energy that unites all living beings and our capacity to sense this intimate union. This archetype eludes us most of our lives, appearing as a concept in a distant galaxy. Yet when we are in the midst of its power, a solemn reverence falls across the land. We glimpse ourselves in the vastness of all consciousness and are neither small nor large within that field. We are neither important nor unimportant. All duality fades away and we are left with what is, the precious knowing that life is a gift, and we are both the giver and the receiver of this fortune. Okay, Beef, I'm going to make you a little bit more comfortable. Sorry, guys. Oh, that's my precious, precious boy. Okay, all right, go ahead. Snuggle up. Okay, sorry, my legs were a little numb there. So, we have the One. What I thought was really interesting is that it's being highlighted by the sun in the corner of the book here. And when we look at the One, it looks like a sun. Now, the sun rules the ego. It rules how we view ourselves in tropical astrology. And I wanted to talk about the Freudian concept of the ego, the id, which is primal instincts, the ego, which is like the middleman between the id and the superego. The superego typically is like your morality, your superiority, in extreme cases. And I wanted to talk about this specifically in the concept of the ego being the middleman, because I talk about ego a lot on this channel, and I never mean it in a negative way, not in the way where it's something that we have to like completely shed and toss away. This is not a channel for enlightenment, all right? This is a channel just for understanding the human the human state. So, when we're looking at the ego, we know that it's a defense mechanism. Beef is so cute. Look at his little ears. We know that it's a defense mechanism. It's built to protect us. It's a shield that we keep around ourselves in order to keep ourselves separate from everyone else, but also be able to integrate into everyone else as well. It's usually like a social acceptance factor. That doesn't make it negative. What really brought me into interest here was where it states undis mundi. On the side it states the unus mundus is a circle representing the unity of existence. Is it possible that the beginning and the end of all things is love? On the other side, it states, it is said that Om is the primordial sound of the universe and that all other mantras are born from it. Simply imagining this possibility will activate the One. So Beef, take a breath with me and you ready? It's like really calming. Let's go ahead and get into the tarot here to take a deeper look at how the One might show up in our day-to-day lives. Ooh, I'm trying to reach. I don't want to disturb him too much. He doesn't really like being on my lap when I do tarot, so this is a very special moment for me. But also, like, I'm super, super glad he's here. Oh my gosh. We are one, buddy. Alright, so let me get just one here. Oh, we actually have two. How interesting. They're both forest animals. They're both earth signs. So that's going to be Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. We have the elk and the bear, both in reverse. Now, the elk is the father. like the leader. So funny, my dad just groaned. Yeah, the elk is the father, the leader, oftentimes the provider. They can also be fierce and stubborn. Like when an elk is mad, you don't move because they will 100% try to kill you. And then we have the bear, and the bear is all about waking from a spiritual slumber, which is even funnier because my dad's laughing in his sleep right now. Great timing, as always. So with both of these being in reverse, you might be unaware of the areas in your life where you need to like really take a stance and lead, maybe leading by example on how to kind of like wake yourself up to something or awaken to some kind of truth. Let's go ahead and pull from, you want to sniff it? My chakra oracle deck. Let him check that out. Oh, he's rubbing it. He's excited. My chakra oracle deck to get a little bit more information. Oh, we have joy. Look at how beautiful that is. Joy and happiness. Yeah, but at the same time, when you indulge in happiness, what is it that I'm thinking of? A happiness pump. Yeah, you might be in a situation where you've kind of become a happiness pump. And that can be very, very toxic. Again, that leads back to the ego being the middleman. And I'm going to make this very, very simplistic for you. I have a brother, right? And I love my brother, but we do not get along because we're really not compatible people. And when we lived together with my dad often had to be the middleman between a lot of our conflicts. It got to a point where my dad was like, if you have an issue with your sister, if you have an issue with your brother, bring it to me, I will handle it. But the issue with leaving it to my dad to handle is my dad doesn't like conflict, and he doesn't handle conflict well. So as a result, none of the conflicts got resolved, and the resentment grew. We were not unified as one household. We were individualized because that's what we had to do to maintain our personal safety. For me, my brother is the type to throw physical threats around and act on them impulsively. So as a result, I'm sitting here like, Dad, like he's gonna physically hurt me if you don't get in the way of it, if you don't stop it. But for my brother is like, I can't emotionally cope with, my sister not doing the things that I want her to do, not complying, essentially. I can't emotionally cope with that, so it's constantly sending me off the deep end. Now, it wasn't really me that was the problem, but we're not going to get into the whole that. The problem was that my dad did not know how to conflict resolve in this way between the two of us. So going to him as a middleman was a fruitless endeavor that actually just led to more infighting between the two of us because we could not unify as a solid unit. Okay, I'm not doing that. Give me just one. Just one, please, Spirit. I know, sorry, B. I'm like knocking him in the head. Okay. Where did that go? I really don't want to reach for it, but I think it's the growth card. You're just gonna have to take my word for it, babe. And we have soulmate on the back of the deck. So there might actually be a soul contract that you have where there is someone that you can unify with in this way, where like the compatibility is such, it's almost, I'm seeing like yin and yang. Oh, my nose is going crazy. And I knew that this was going to come because I have written on here, twin flame deconstruction. Oh, I knew it. And I bet when I do my situations deck, it's going to bring twin flame up again. Now, if you don't know the concept of a twin flame, the concept of a twin flame is that it's essentially the mission for a twin flame is to come together for the greater good of humanity, right? But is someone who mirrors all of your issues, all of your flaws back to you, so that way you can fix them. You can see them and work on them. And I'm going to use my brother as an example in this again. At the very end of all of our conflicts, I had taken things into my own hands, right? And I was like, all right, since my dad can't be the elk, can't act as the leader, being the father, and he seems to be just like sleeping through all these conflicts, not dealing with them, turning a blind eye and shutting his eyes to it. I'm going to take on that role, which really is not a comfortable place for me to be in. So I'm already hypervigilant, on edge, and, fighting. But the main issue with my brother is that he never does anything wrong in his mind, right? But he's almost always the antagonizer or the common denominator in the issues. And I'm going to bring a really, really simple issue that we had. One main issue that we had was food. I have a lot of like food scarcity issues due to a very rough upbringing. My brother is not like that, because we were raised in like a narcissist paradigm. So as a result, he was like the golden child, and was consistently given like proper nourishment, while I, on the other hand, was like heavily malnourished most of my life. And so food scarcity was a huge, huge issue for me. It was one of those like line in the sand type deals. And I remember I was on a special diet plan because I had like a major organ fail, and as a result I like couldn't consume a lot of normal foods. So I had meal prepped like 3 pounds of food to be able to like eat over the course of a week. And he ate all of it in one night. So I lost my like completely. And when I brought this issue to my dad was like, oh, don't worry about it, like I'll buy more and replace it. And I was like, it's not about that. It's about the fact that like I spent hours making this, using energy I didn't have to make it. You know, I spent my own personal money on this. Like, this wasn't family food. Like, there is no reason that he couldn't just ask to find out instead of just eating 3 whole pounds of food in one night like a monster, dude, like a menace. Like, he is doing this intentionally to antagonize me. He knows I'm on a special diet plan. He knew that this would hurt me, and he's already angry at me. So this felt incredibly intentional to me. So it, for me, really activated the id, that primal instinct in me to fight to survive, right? Because food scarcity was something that I fought a lot with growing up. Are you okay, buddy? All right. So, you know, one of the biggest fights that we ever had was in regards to this, and it was in this situation, and it actually brought me a lot of happiness afterwards, but we'll get into that in a second. One of the big things that I said, I had brought it up to him, and he was like, well, then you need to write your name on it so I know not to eat it. And I was like, no, absolutely not. We've had this issue consistently. Not even we. You have had this issue consistently for a decade with my dad's ex-girlfriend, with our other siblings, with our siblings' partners, where every single time they bring home food, whether or not it's marked with their name, you eat all of it with zero consideration for other people. And if that has been your resolve for 10 years, that it is another person's responsibility to stop you from eating their food, then you're an idiot, because that is not working. That is clearly not working. It has not worked for 10 years. You have lost 5 to 7 different relationships because of this. And guess who is the common denominator in all of it? You, buddy. So it's your problem. You have to fix it, and I expect you to fix it. And I went off. I was like, you must be a fucking idiot to have this happen for 10 straight years and not be willing to recognize, wow, you're so cute, buddy. Wow, maybe I'm the problem here. So I was stuck in my id. He was stuck in his super ego. And we had no middleman. So there was just this massive... And I'm very much seeing this, but this is meant to be a point of growth for you, because it was for my brother. It was a point of growth to finally have to face up to accountability. And it was a point of growth for me to constantly not have to safeguard my food and hutch over it constantly just to prevent it from being eaten when it shouldn't have been eaten in the first place, when it was like a very baseline stance. All right, so let's keep getting into this. Let's get a little bit deeper into what's going on. You want to give that a sniff, buddy? Go ahead, bless the bottle. Bless the bottle. But no, like, you know, big fights can just prop up over tiny little things like that. And in reality, you really do need to be awake and aware of what the root issue is. Like, for me, the root issue was that food scarcity, which I had repeatedly explained to him. And for him, the issue was that I was just not complying. And, yeah, that wasn't gonna fly, buddy. And that eventually did change. You know, he became a lot more aware of asking whether or not he could eat the food that was in the fridge and unmarked. And it fixed a lot of things for us. So I do have commitment coming out first and foremost in my situations deck. So again, I do see you coming into union with someone, especially maybe with the one for you. Or with someone who seems like they are the one, with someone that is like a soulmate to you, someone that you might find it is hard to let go of. But it does seem like this person mirrors a lot of issues in your life that have been left unresolved. Things that you are in that spiritual slumber to, that you're not taking like a leadership role in resolving. Let's just get a couple more. Ooh, we have crushed coming out. Yeah. And you know what? It was extremely crushing to my brother to like have to take accountability for that, for him to hit the realization, to hit the fucking wall and be like, whoa, wait a minute. All of those relationships that were ruined, all of those times I could have done something as simple as asking, and if I got the answer no, getting something else to eat. All of those times, and I was really the problem. Like my response to this issue was truly the problem. And it did leave him crushed. He felt like he was fighting this battle completely alone, but in reality, like, I was happy to support him, to help him with food if he needed it, just as long as it wasn't the very specific diet food I required to survive. Okay, we have hamster wheel in reverse. We also have alien, telepathic, dreams and songs. And that's something that I've noticed a lot in twin flame dynamics, is that they often tend to have like a telepathic connection. But I almost feel as if you might feel a bit cut off from your intuition, because you're not looking the problem directly. You're not looking directly at the problem. You're trying to avoid it or not look at it. And this might be because of survival issues, because you're stuck in the id, which is that primal instinct, you know? Like, normally, I'm the type of person to communicate about things, to work things out very, very calmly, to bring things, you know, to you, try to find a resolve for both of us, try to frame it in a way that is not directly like accusing you or forcing you to take 100% of the blame. It's more like, hey, when you do this, it makes me feel this, and, you know, I think we could find this compromise. That's, you know, a healthy ego working. But I was in an extreme survival state, so I didn't have the capacity to be able to communicate that. Instead, I was like, no, like, I have to survive. And in this case, my only method of surviving here is to fight. So I am going to fight with my teeth bared. So you might feel a bit cut off from your intuition because of this. You might feel a little bit on edge, especially if situations are a bit desperate. And we have bounty hunter. It's so funny. I just said teeth bared because I was picturing a dog with its teeth bared, and I do have a dog with its teeth bared right here. I would inch closer to show you, but you see, the problem is I have a cat on my lap, and he's asleep. Now at the back of the deck, I have drastic in reverse, and you know what's underneath soulmate is release in reverse. So it almost feels like you're really struggling to like let this person go, but you're also struggling to look the problem directly in the eyes. And I think looking the problem directly in the eye is what would help to keep this person. Interesting. How interesting. What else do I have written on here? Twin flame deconstruction, individualism versus identity. Oh, and then the song. So I had channeled a song for this, and the song that I had channeled was True Love by Tobias Jesso Jr. And in this song, it talks very heavily about two people who are basically like, they're doing what they need to do to survive, not because they want to, but because it makes them a lot happier to be in the position that they are in than it is to make any active change. So like one man, you know, has lived in poverty his whole life, so it talks about how he doesn't buy anything new because he just doesn't have the money for it. And then his partner, his true love, you know, she works, I think it's like at a grocery store, because she dropped out of college because that didn't make her happy. But still, like, they are deeply, deeply, and what am I hearing? Irrevocably in love with each other, regardless of, you know, the perceived flaws that society might label them with. And they're able to accept who they are and accept each other as a result. And so it brings that individualism, right? And the shameful identity that society tries to instill, and it combines it, heals it, and brings it into this oneness, this unity, where it's not important or unimportant. What matters here is that we love each other. So the beginning and the end of it is all love. Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's cute. Let's get into the tarot. Beef started purring when I was talking about that too. I'm so happy he's happy. I'm so happy he's cuddling with me. I hope he joins us for more readings. Hi, Pupskis. Okay, I'm actually gonna grab my romance deck for this one. Oh, I know I'm leaning over you. It's not very comfortable, is it? Go ahead, give that one a sniffer. Oh, man, and I knew it too. You're gonna make me angry, Spirit. I was thinking, I was like, man, maybe I should be using a cat deck for this, because I have a really cute cat deck. And it is absolutely adorable, so why don't you give that one a sniffer? I know, the core horn's got you, doesn't it? Oh wow, what can you do? Maybe there are alarms going off for you in a situation, like your ego, id, or even the super ego, like big alarm bells are going off. Because at this point, it's like there's no more turning a blind eye to it. You have to face it. You have to deal with it. Maybe because other people are bringing it to you as well. Because like if that continues to go, my other neighbors are gonna get mad. So it's like, I mean, I'm filming at night right now. So even if it's the middle of the night, you know, and your car alarm is going off, you still have to wake up and turn it off. Exactly, like that. But the only reason that you're even turning it off when you're that exhausted, you know, is because of, well, what will other people think? Well, I have to do this. So there's this urgency that's enacted as a result of that. Let's take a look at the tarot, please. Just a couple. Thank you. Ooh, we have the Three of Wands in reverse. My Three of Wands is usually about manifestations, bringing in manifestations, being able to look ahead, visualize, look over the horizon, and understand that there are better things available over there. But when I see it in reverse, it's almost as if considering that the grass is greener on the other side, and I'm getting the sense that it's not. The only reason that the grass might appear to be greener is because of the fact that things at this time, might feel a bit desperate. Yeah, because we have surviving that daily hustle coming out. Oh, my nose is going crazy again. So it's like that survival mode that you're stuck in might make things like, it might make, because I'm thinking fight or flight, it might make flight seem like the prettier option than staying and fighting for what you have. Yeah, we have the Chariot. That's flight right there. The Chariot is all about leaving, walking away. So you might be thinking about walking away, but you're also like, no, like that's really not what I want to do. That would crush me. That would hurt a lot. Like what I'm in right now makes me really happy. It's just that the circumstances in which it makes me happy is making me miserable. Okay. Ooh, we have a lot. We have the Six of Pentacles coming out. The Six of Pentacles upright can be like a give and take relationship. It can also indicate a relationship that is unfair. Because I have another deck and it shows this man giving someone a small amount while keeping a large amount for themselves. This feels more like what am I saying? Energetic. No, it's not. Energetic rationing, where it's like, you know, I only have so much energy to be able to do something. What am I going to spend that on? Which kind of wraps me back to the spoon theory. And if you haven't heard the spoon theory, it's a theory made for people with, it's a theory made to help you understand people with like chronic pain or chronic, what is it that I'm thinking of? It's not disabilities, although it can be. I don't know, but like chronic pain. The concept of it is that like every single day you wake up and you have, let's say, 10 spoons. And then every single thing that you choose to do during that day costs a certain amount of spoons. So something like brushing your hair, brushing your teeth, using the bathroom, getting out of bed, those all might cost like 1 spoon. But then like going to work, picking the kids up from school, making everybody dinner, those might cost like 5 spoons each activity. So as a result, at the end of the day, if I only have 10 to 15 a day to spend, I wake up, that costs 1. Then I brush my hair, that costs 2. I gotta get dressed, that costs 3. That costs, another 1. So now I'm at 4 for the day. And then let's say that, now I have to drop the kids off at school, and that costs 3 spoons. So now I'm at 7. And then I go to work, that costs 5 spoons. So now I'm at 12. So I've only got 3 spoons left for the rest of the day. So I go to work, and then I come home, and I gotta pick the kids up from school again. So that's 3 spoons. I'm at my limit, but I still have to make dinner. I still have to do laundry. I still have to pack lunches. I still have to do this. I still have to do that. I still have to do this. I still have to do that. So by the end of the day, I'm down like 25 spoons. So I have to pull 10 spoons from tomorrow to make sure that today everything gets done. And then tomorrow I start with 5 spoons. And tomorrow, I still have to do all of this all over. I still have to spend 25 spoons. So then the day after that, I am negative 20 spoons, which means I would need a day and a half of doing absolutely zip, nada, 0, in order to just recuperate the amount of energy I would need for the following day. So by, let's say, the end of the week, I still haven't had a break. Now it's my weekend. I have 2 days off. But I'm negative like 75 spoons. So there is absolutely nothing I could do to recuperate even half of what I am missing during those 2 days. And I still have a lot to do during those 2 days. So it ends up being this like chronic, exhausting cycle. And that might be where you're at right now. The spoon theory might actually help you to like energy ration, and it might explain or help you explain to your partner why you might need assistance in carrying a certain amount of like, what is it that I'm hearing? Load? No. What? Like I guess just taking things off your plate for shorthand, because I have no clue what you guys are trying to say to me right now. We have the Hermit in reverse here. So coming out of an isolation, maybe after a period of looking at your relationship or considering to leave, you might be at the point, like I'm seeing like a breaking point, because we did have crushed, and one of those says broken, feeling alone. This is very much giving like married, single mother energy, where it's like a married wife, well, a married woman with children, but is like taking on the brunt of 100% of the labor on her own. So she's basically like a single person because the husband's just a kid. Now, obviously you can flip the roles, etc. My dad was a married single mother when he was married to my biological mother. And we talked about this recently, where he was like, I would wake up in the morning, wake you guys up for school, because we were elementary students, wake you guys up for school, get you ready, drive you up to school, come home, sleep for an hour, go to work for 16 hours, then I'd come home, I'd have to make you guys dinner because you hadn't eaten yet, I'd have to clean the living room and the kitchen and do the dishes and do the laundry, and then by the time I got to bed, I only got about an hour of sleep before I had to wake up to wake you guys up to get you dressed to get you to school. And he's like, and then after a while of doing this, I was like, man, like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I doing this all alone, And ultimately, my dad is a Catholic man, so he would never divorce someone. Ultimately, this led him to accepting the divorce. When my mother brought the divorce papers to him, he was just like, sign me up, woman. Where do I sign? But no, my dad was very much like a married single mother throughout most of my childhood, where he pulled almost all of the physical labor in terms of like financial provision, but he also pulled all of the physical labor in terms of like housework and child rearing, and that he is Superman. Absolutely, he's Superman. The last card that I have at the back of the deck is the Empress in reverse here. Yeah, I mean, if you are negative in your spoons, there is absolutely no room for self-care unless you forcibly make time for it, which also costs energy to do. I'm very much the type of person where I might fall into a little bit of a depression sometimes. And I know logically that, like, just taking a shower, eating something, maybe popping on a face mask and some decent music, all of those things, even one of those things, it would drastically improve my mood and my energy levels. But I'm so far in the negative. I'm so far in the negative already. Because when I'm depressed, I got like 2 spoons a day. And one of those is spent just waking up, just opening my eyes and being like, yes, reality. Sweet, sweet reality. So oftentimes I spend the other spoon just going back to sleep. And that continues this awful cycle where I end up sleeping like 18 hours a day and getting nothing done for weeks on end. And then I'm like, I'm an awful person for this, which costs spoons too. So it can be understandable if you are feeling like you're alone, like you feel like you're at a breaking point. But I also feel as if there is compromise here that I feel like you would rather choose to take than just leaving as a whole. But in the same breath, my dad was one of those people where he was never going to bring divorce directly to my mother. Never. That's just not in his, that is his super ego. That's his morality at hand, at play. That is simply not something that he allows himself to do. It is his restraint. But when she brought him those divorce papers, I mean, that was like unlocking the shackles on his ankles. He was really depressed for a while, but afterwards, I think he's the happiest he's ever been. He's the most free he's ever been. He has the least amount of workload he's ever had, and the workload that he does take on, he chooses to take on. And while he might not, have the happiest or the most fulfilling life, he's at a point where, like, it is so much easier, and he has a very loving and kind partner, that is always working with him, and when she needs help, he works with her, so there's this constant compromise. So if you are with someone where, you feel like the brunt of the labor is on you, and you feel like your only option is to leave, I'm just a tarot reader, but from the cards, it looks like, I would recommend that you choose to do that, because holding on to this person seems to be holding you back from your own joy and happiness. Ooh, we do have the Father of Wands here in the middle of the deck. That is, I believe, the King of Wands. So again, it's like this fiery, it's a very fiery energy. With the Hierophant and the Five of Pentacles being directly under that, it almost feels like enough is enough. That is very much the energy of enough is enough, of like hitting the wall and being like, okay, I can no longer either, one, tolerating the behavior that's coming from me, or two, tolerating the behavior that's coming from you. Because the behavior that's coming from you is making me behave this way, and the behavior that's making me behave this way is making you behave that way. Putting an end to this toxic cycle would make sense. We have the Four of Wands at the back of the deck. There could be some reconciliation or reuniting with someone from your past, maybe with someone that you ran through this cycle with, but you have both grown and changed, because we did have the growth card that is currently still sitting on the floor. What else do we have? The Five of Swords in reverse. Yeah, maybe after a long period alone, you guys would be able to reunite on better terms there. Interesting. Oh, he's so cute. Can we just get a little round of applause for him? Because I'm going to get some self-care. Oh, yeah, he's a good boy. I'm going to get some self-care and wrap this up. Oof. Gonna give that one a sniff? No, he's good. He thinks if he sniffs it again, it's gonna set off a car alarm. Let's just get some self-care for the one archetypes, please. Spirit, Holy Holy Angels. Yeah, I mean, with my brother, like, the resolve there was that he had to leave, and in him leaving, literally everyone else's life in the household got way better, and it became a unified front. But he was consistently like, what am I thinking of? It's like a wedge. He was constantly the wedge between the other relationships in the household. Due to like an antagonistic nature. And it was really more due to the fact that, like, he refused to take accountability for anything. He refused to make any form of compromise. He expected like total compliance, and he intended to fully dominate everyone into compliance. We have Hydrate on the as the first self-care card, which is funny because I'm parched right now. So we do have Hydrate, that rounds to 9. 9, I believe, is completion or nearing completion, depending on the numerology that you use. We have create art, number 17, that rounds to 8, which I believe is abundance. We have number 43 on the back of the deck with rest here. I'm only bringing that up because I did mention rest earlier. Oh, we do have 2 that are flipped over. So the first one is a little bit rated R. We have pleasure, self-pleasure, self-physical pleasure. It doesn't have to be sexual. This could obviously be something like for me personally, I know it's silly. Every single Tuesday, well, not every single month, I choose one Tuesday of the month and I take a very nice hot bath with a face mask and loud, happy music where I can dance in the bathtub and drink a glass of wine and be my happiest self. And that for me is like my massive self-care day. And I cannot compromise on that, because compromising on that means I am down a couple spoons for the rest of the month, because that is a very rejuvenating process for me. It gives me spoons rather than just takes it from me. So that could be a pleasureful activity for you as well, although it doesn't have to be. We also have connect with crystals, number 11 coming out. That rounds to 2. Now pleasure is number 40, that rounds to 4, that's going to be stability. Connect with crystals is 11, that rounds to 2, which is duality and partnership. But it's funny that duality is coming up because this card is all about non-duality. It's about oneness. Yeah. Okay, well that's what I'm seeing for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me. I am very grateful that you have stayed this long. Make sure to drop a like, a comment, let me know how this resonated for you, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!